The night air was heavy, filled with dust and silence. The people walked slowly, their feet tired from the long journey. They had left Egypt behind, the place of their suffering, their pain, their slavery. For the first time in their lives, they were free. But freedom did not feel the way they imagined. There were no homes, no food prepared, no clear path ahead, only uncertainty. Children clung to their mothers, old men struggled to keep up. And the sound of footsteps stretched endlessly across the desert. Some began to whisper quietly, "Did we make the right choice?" Just as hope tried to rise, fear returned. A voice broke the silence. Look, far behind them, a cloud of dust lifted into the sky. At first it was small, then it grew bigger and louder. The ground began to tremble, the sound of horses, the rumble of chariots. Pharaoh had changed his mind. He was coming back for them. Fear spread like fire through the crowd. People began to shout, to cry, to run in confusion. They are coming to kill us. We are trapped. There is nowhere to go. Mothers grabbed their children tightly. Men looked round desperately for an escape. But there was none. The fear in their hearts was stronger than ever before, stronger than the fear they felt in Egypt. And what they saw made everything worse. The sea wide, endless, UNMOVING. It stretched as far as the eye could see. No boats, no bridge, no path. Behind them an army, in front of them the sea. They were trapped between death and the impossible. Toward Moses. Anger filled their voices. Why did you bring us here? Was there no place to die in Egypt? We told you to leave us there. Their fear turned into blame. The man who led them to freedom was now the man they accused. But Moses did not panic. He stood still, calm in the middle of chaos. The wind moved across the desert, brushing against his face. Yet his eyes were steady. He looked at the people, broken by fear. Then he lifted his gaze toward the sky, and in a strong, steady voice, he said, "Do not be afraid." The people fell silent. "Stand still, and you will see the salvation of the Lord." Even as the sound of chariots grew louder, even as fear filled every heart, Moses did not move. He held his staff tightly, the same staff that had already shown God's power before. But this moment felt different. Moses stretched out his hand over the sea. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, the wind began to blow, soft at first dot, then stronger dot, then powerful beyond anything they had ever felt. The water started to move. The sea began to respond. Slowly, the waters pulled apart. The ground beneath began to appear. The wind roared through the night, and the sea rose higher and higher on both sides. Walls of water, massive, powerful, impossible. A path formed, right through the middle of the sea. The people stood frozen. Their fear turned into shock. Moses turned and shouted, "Go, move forward, step by step." They walked, children, mothers, fathers, walking between walls of water. The ground beneath them was dry. The sea stood still. What once blocked them had now become their path. Behind them, the army did not stop. Pharaoh's soldiers rushed forward into the sea. Their chariots raced across the path. But something began to change. The wheels struggled, the ground shifted. Fear entered their hearts. This is not normal. The last of the people reached the other side. Breathing heavily, still in shock. They turned back, watching the army trapped inside the sea. Moses lifted his staff once more. The wind stopped. In a single moment, the waters came crashing down, the walls collapsed, the sea returned to its place, the army disappeared beneath the waves. The sound was overwhelming. Then suddenly silence.